welcome to the She Breathes Soul Stories podcast. I am your host, Jenn Gulbrand. This podcast and the She Breathes Soul Stories movement and book was really born from one simple truth that sharing our story heals. Here on the show, we explore the moments that break us, rebuild us, and ultimately define our strength. And through those stories and the sharing of those stories, we uncover the beauty within the process of becoming who we really are here today. And so I am very delighted to be in the virtual studio with my new friend, Catalina. And I'm not even
Hello.
going to try to say her last name because I'll mess it up. But she is a psychotherapist, a speaker, and an activist, and also the founder of Alive in Her movement. So I'm really honored to have you on the show. Welcome, Catalina.
Thank you.
So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself before we launch into your personal story?
Well, I'm a survivor of narcissism. So the fact that I have a voice and I'm launching a global movement is, yeah, quite a thing for me.
It's
And, uh, and,
wonderful.
uh, and it's very inspiring for any survivor of narcissism.
Yes, absolutely. And I know you're going to share your story, but can you tell us a little bit about this global movement that you've started?
I just started the Live in Her movement. It is
Okay.
for me, for you, for everybody, because I work with a lot of people and they are very lonely. So they asked
Yes.
me for, like a community, like a global village.
I
Yeah,
love
so
that.
yeah, so that's how the idea came. So actually the idea came from my clients. Or
That's
let's say my
wonderful.
clients inspired me and I had the idea because everybody
Yeah,
was so lonely and they needed a place where they can support each other. And for the moment, I
absolutely.
have a Facebook group, and after that, I will have a platform, something bigger, so they can support each other, share their stories, inspire each other, and so on. Because
Love
exactly
that.
as you said, sharing their story is healing for another person or inspiring, and so on.
Yeah. I think that's fabulous. I'm not a psychotherapist. I am a coach and I do somatic work, body-based healing, and I'm a trauma informed and I do EMDR.
Yeah,
So I too am seeing in my practice so much craving for community, in-person
yeah.
community, online community, especially after, the last few years of going through all the things that we've gone as a world. And in my country right now, as a nation, it's really challenging time.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. It's like a very challenging time, and I love my country. I don't necessarily love where we're going right now, and so it's very difficult. And people are experiencing trauma from this very experience of being an American citizen right now, and especially those of us who have a conscience and want to like put more good into the world. So I do believe that there is a rising in people's recognition and understanding that they feel isolated and alone and that they need more conscious community and connection with one another. And I do believe it's had a lot to do with the mental health crisis that we're seeing all around the world and people just really feeling dysregulated and disconnected and disembodied and all these things that we talk about in our work. So I'm very grateful to you for the work that you do. So
Thank you. And together we can share this about this movement, and everybody can participate, and we can support each other.
exactly, that's what it's all
So
about, right?
yeah. So we
Th-
can't, I don't know, not to be lonely anymore.
yeah, right. Absolutely. And we feel so separated and different, but we really have so much more in common than any of us would realize. And I think when we can start to have those conversations, and that's why storytelling is so beautiful, right? Because
Yeah.
when we can show up vulnerably and share the sort of raw truths about ourselves and our experiences, it doesn't just heal us, it heals the people who are listening. And that's what this podcast is all about, is to encourage people to step out and stop hiding behind, the
Shame and everything, and
shame.
yeah,
Because when
yeah.
we really, it's very liberating to free ourselves, and then we connect in a whole different way. So that's a great transition to my inviting you to share your story. So please do so.
Yeah, and I will share my story. And I also wanted to say that women can share their stories in my Facebook group. They don't need to say their names.
Oh,
So
yes, it
if
can be
they,
anonymous. Good,
yeah, 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 and
good.
that's very good because they are
Yes.
not frightened. Oh, somebody will see, or my ex-husband will see, and so on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's why we
yeah,
keep so much of this stuff hidden because we are very focused on the outside response to it, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and of course, for many women can also be dangerous. So it's very important not to share it
Yes.
with their names. So that
Yes.
is why they can share it, and yeah, and the other woman can be inspired, and so on.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, or maybe,
Well,
maybe they need something and they need someone to drink coffee with or
mhm.
someone like that, and somebody else from the group can offer this, and maybe that other girl needs something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A safe
yeah,
space
a safe
to,
space, yes, yes,
yeah,
but not to share their story, but also to, I don't
just,
know, to say I can, yeah, I can give for free some of my skills. I can give
yeah,
my time and so on, and they can,
I can be
support each other.
I can be a listening ear, right?
Yeah, I can be a
Yeah.
listening ear for half an hour,
Non-judgmental.
let's say. Yeah,
Yeah.
non-judgmental for half an hour. And
Beautiful.
another woman can say, oh, but I need this. Can you have it today at 5?
Yeah.
And another one, let's say, needs, I don't know, help with her resume, and another one with her CV, and another one can help her.
Love that. I love it. It's a great,
Another
it's
one is, let's say, building her own business, and
mhm.
another girl can offer to do her free website.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that means, yeah.
As a builder myself of heart-centered communities for that, for women particularly, I think it's great. And I love that you're doing this. So let's jump into your story as a survivor of narcissism
Yeah.
and how that sort of led you to do the work that you do today. Can you share?
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was raised in a narcissistic family. I had a lot of gaslighting. So even though I'm almost 47 years old, I still have days or moments, let's say not days, entire days, but let's say moments when, I double check things. Okay, am I seeing this
Mm.
correctly? Is this a good decision? Yeah, because after so many years of gaslighting, it's difficult to, you know, so you have moments, not very often, but you have moments when you double
Yeah,
check what is pity, because you
yeah,
can't be sure of the reality or your self-perception. And so I became a therapist as a natural move, let's say, because I
right.
already had all the skills I learned
Yeah.
from surviving. And and now I'm working with survivors of narcissism.
Oh, so that's a specialty in your
Yeah, yeah,
practice.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's wonderful. Tell the listeners who may not know what that's like, what that experience was like for you, growing
Well,
up in a
that,
home with narcissistic parents.
well, for me it was normal, but of course it's not normal. But I didn't know any other, any other life. So when I hear about healthy families, great, but I didn't have
Mhm.
one. So it was only gaslighting and so on. So it was very difficult.
So I don't know that everyone who's listening knows what that is. So can you explain to them what gaslighting is?
Gaslighting is when somebody tells you that that blouse is yellow, for example, and in time convinces you that that blouse
Right.
is
And
yellow.
you start
So,
to believe it.
and you start to believe it. So next time you look at that blouse, you say, "Oh yeah, yeah, it
It
can be
is
yellow.
yellow.
Okay, it is yellow, or it can be yellow, or oh, I probably have problems with my eyes. Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I need to check up. I need to go to a doctor. Maybe I don't see it correctly.
Right. So it's a type of mental abuse
Yeah,
that people inflict on other people who in most cases are, relying on them for some
yeah.
kind of care and nurturing. And so you are put in a situation where you become really victimized in a way by this person who, you know,
Yeah,
should
and
be
should be your protector. Yeah,
should be your protector. Okay, thank
yeah,
you. And so just again, because not all of our listeners come with the same understanding. So when we experience trauma of this kind or painful life events, particularly as young children, our body, our central nervous system wants to protect us. So it chooses a mode to revert to, right? That maybe isn't a healthy or sustainable mode, but it's what it's doing to protect us from what it perceives as danger. So if you are in a home where you are constantly being mentally abused, your body's going to go into a fight or flight or freeze mode. And what happens then with that experience is it never fully processes itself.
Yeah,
So it gets re-triggered and re-triggered and re-triggered. I know you know this as a therapist, but I want our listeners to understand too.
yeah,
So then you go through life believing these things about yourself, these negative things about yourself, and you're on top of that, you have the shame, and so you don't talk about it, and you don't necessarily get the help that you need to work through it. And so the work that we do as therapists and coaches and EMDR practitioners is to help your body complete that experience in a healthy, safe way so that it doesn't keep coming up for you over and over and over I call it unfinished business, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You are
And
definitely right. Yeah,
yeah, so I think that just so everyone understands, when somebody grows up in a home like that, like those experiences stay in your, not just in your mind and in your memory, but in your physical and energetic body, and they
yeah,
wreak havoc, right? Until you can finish them, reprocess them, feel them, number one, because we spend so much time suppressing them, but also to be able to like release the chains that they have over you so that you can begin to live a healthier life and learn how to regulate yourself, whether it's through breath work or movement or meditation or all the different beautiful tools that we have. So I think it's important for people to understand that that's a lot to go through as a child, and there's a lot of healing that goes into that to become a person who can help others. So I just want to acknowledge, what you've been through and how big of a deal this really is
yeah.
for
But it's
people.
important to know that healing is possible.
It is absolutely.
And of course, they can thrive after this. And actually, the name of the movement, Alive in Her, actually, it came because, yeah, as narcissistic survivors, we only survive, of course, we don't live. So, Alive in Her means exactly this, that there is life in every survivor, and
Yeah.
every person needs to find that life. And it's important to live, not just survive. And of course, it's possible.
It's
So,
important
so that's,
and it's
yes,
important to thrive, right? We want to be
to thrive.
thriving. Yeah,
Yeah,
we want to
yeah,
be
but yeah, we want to
yeah,
thrive, we want to live.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's how the name came up, Alive
I
in Her.
love it. I love the name. So before we talk about the movement, what inspired you to start sharing these sort of deeper parts of yourself publicly? Because it's not easy. I know. I wrote a whole book sharing things that people didn't know had happened to me. I get it. So like where did you find the courage? What made you decide I'm gonna talk about this?
Well, because I've seen that it's an inspiration for others, because
Yeah.
everybody was alone, as we said, and everybody
Yeah.
was sure, oh, but if I went through this, oh, but no, I can't be healed, and I will not have a great life. And I wanted to be an inspiration. No, okay, you
Yeah.
went through this, but you can have a great life. And because I was raised in a narcissistic family, in a very toxic family, that is why the idea of global village came up for the
Mm.
movement, because you couldn't choose our family back then, but we can choose our family now, and it can be a
Yes.
healthy family. I mean, and okay, it was, we couldn't do anything about it. It was a toxic
Y-
family for many of us, but now we can choose the people who are in this global
Yeah.
village, and that can be very healthy, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. To know that you get to make those choices.
yeah,
Surround yourself with people who are going to support you in a positive and loving way. Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
think it's,
now you have these options, because as a child, of course, you didn't have one.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I
you
know.
have this option now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a choice each and every day that we get to
Yeah,
make. It's an
yeah.
opportunity. Did you have any fear or reservations about opening up and telling people about this or not?
No, no, I'm used
No.
to people judging, so
Well, and that's the thing. We got to let go of that, right? Worrying so much about what other people think. That's a big, big lesson,
yeah,
isn't it?
and yeah, yeah, and in my country there was a saying, "What will people say?" And we were
Yeah.
all grew up
Yeah.
with this saying. Parents,
What
used
will
to tell
people
us all
say?
the time, "What will
Yeah.
people say?" Oh, but
Right.
you can't do this. What will people say? So, okay, people will say things. Okay,
It's I know, and it takes a while to deprogram that,
yeah,
to learn that it's really an inside job, right? We need to care about what we think and how we feel because we really can't control anybody else's behaviors or actions.
No, no,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
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 and
for sure.
I will help, or we may help, the people
Yeah,
who would
yeah,
like to be helped.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't you think there's also a really important thread here that when people start to realize they're not the only one, right? I'm not the only one that suffered in this way.
Yeah,
Then
so
they,
it's not about me. And they realize, oh, but it's not about me. Oh, it was never
yeah,
about me. Oh, this woman, oh, when they're saying, oh, so it's definitely not about me. And that, it's very important for them to understand that. And for all of
absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
we're not the only one, and that there's community out there that will understand and that will want to support you because they've lived it or versions of it as well. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
really
And
important.
and that actually everybody speaks the same language,
Yeah.
somehow, and we understand our feelings and so on.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us more about the movement, like the actual community that you're building, this global community. How does it work? And what are you, what phase are you in, and what is your long-term vision?
Well, I'm just launching this movement, and I want it to be big because a lot of people are already supporting it. And
Nice.
yeah, people can join the Facebook group where they can share their story, offer their time and skills and so on, or they can just post something on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, and on social
Okay.
media, and use the hashtag Alive in Her. Because
Love
when
it.
people see the hashtag Alive in Her, they know that okay, somebody did it, I can do it too.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and they
love
can
it.
use this hashtag whenever they share a story, whenever they see a quote, maybe in a book, whenever they conquer a fear, whenever they leave a toxic relationship, whenever they manage to do something, they have a win, big or small, and so
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
whenever they feel like it, and people see this hashtag and, oh, but I can do too, or maybe, I can
Yeah.
try to find my hobby.
I love that. And I know, so it's an online community at this point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I want it to
Okay.
be global because it's very important to see that, as I said, we speak the same language. So no matter
Yeah.
if we are from America and we are from Europe, yeah, we
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
same feeling and we can support each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we can
Absolutely.
empower each other.
And learn from each other, right?
Yeah, and learn
Learn
from
from
each
each other.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. For sure. I know you can't talk specifics because the work that you do is confidential, but could you share sort of a story of how you may have been able to help somebody who's come to you, again without details, but who's
yeah.
come to you and just really is seeking, maybe has been a survivor of narcissism, and what that looked like for that person and how you were able to support them.
Well, actually, I support women because I work with them
Yeah.
every day. But, at the end of the day, I am also happy because I realize that I support their children too. Because if they,
Yes.
end up those toxic relationship, it's very good for the children. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm very happy that, maybe the next generation, will have better mental health and those children are
Yes.
protected somehow.
That's
Yeah,
a
so I
really
help.
important point.
Yeah, so
That's
actually, at the end of the day, when I work with women who have children, it's, I don't know, let's say I'm happier because I
well,
know that
that makes
there were many persons
yeah.
involved, and yeah, I could help many persons, even though I never met the child, of course.
Well, that makes so much sense because another thing for our listeners to understand is when trauma does not get dealt with, when it's unresolved, we pass it down
Yeah, yeah.
generation to generation. So it comes down to us and we pass it down to our children, not on purpose,
No,
but
no, no, no.
because it hasn't been processed yet. So I have this conversation with my daughter all the time because so I'm adopted, my daughter's adopted. We were just chatting
Oh, you
before.
are adopted
Yeah,
too.
I'm adopted too.
How
But
interesting.
I know, right? And so we have this conversation now, and the name of my book is called Embody Your Essence: Break Patterns of Suffering to Reclaim Your Joy, because we have an opportunity to teach our children differently, to show up differently as themselves and in their relationships so that they don't take our stuff and pass it down to their kids. And I think that's what's kind of cool what's happening now, because these are things that for many many years nobody talked about this stuff, right? Because
Yeah,
right, you keep that stuff, like you said, what will people think? But
yeah,
so now that we're being more open, we're talking and we're becoming more a part of these communities, we can have these conversations with our adult children or younger and
yeah.
say, hey, this isn't yours. You don't need to take this limiting belief that I had, that I passed down to you. You can break that pattern. And that I think is, I get goosebumps talking about it, because I think that's what's really beautiful about what's unraveling here, and what's unfolding in terms of these platforms that we're creating for people to say, you are not, you are not defined by these things that happen to you.
No, 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 no. It's
They
not your identity, and it wasn't your
Yeah,
fault.
exactly. Because when people can release that, then, that's when the healing, I think, really starts to generate for people, is to take that weight off of themselves, that they did something wrong, or they asked for it, or they deserved it, right? They
Yeah,
weren't worthy of a healthy, loving relationship. Well, and we all know that is the farthest thing from the truth. Everyone deserves to be loved and nurtured. And so, yeah, but I think that's a really important point to bring up, is we don't want to pass these things down to our kids. And that's why it's really important for us to find people who can help us to heal from our generational wounds and trauma, and from the trauma we've had in our own life and experiences.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if we don't heal this, we can't connect with our children. So
right.
emotionally, we are not there for them, which is, of course,
Exactly.
not good for the children.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Not at
it's very
all.
important to heal ourselves, and after that, to raise
Yeah,
healthy children.
exactly. That's our responsibility, right?
Yeah.
We want to create a kinder, more compassionate and loving world, and it starts with loving ourselves enough to do the work,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And supporting each other, of course.
Exactly, exactly. But it's really hard to help someone else if you're not
Yeah, 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 of course.
loving yourself enough, right? So
Yeah.
this, oh my gosh, it always goes so fast, the half an hour. But so what advice would you have for, let's say there's some women listening around the world to our podcast today in this conversation, and they are just like on the edge of, wanting to reach out to you, to get involved, or to reach out to me to be on this show and share their story. How would you encourage them?
Well,
What
you
would
are
you
not
say? What would you
alone.
say to them? Yeah.
You are not alone. And by being in this movement, you encourage other women. So at the end
Yeah.
of the day, you know that you helped, and you don't even know how many women you helped, because
It's
maybe
so
they
true.
post their story, and a lot of women see their story and are helped, and are, I don't know, supported by it. They
Yeah.
are inspired by it, but maybe we will never know, that those women were inspired by it. But
Yeah.
somebody out there around the globe,
Yeah.
is happy because you posted that. And maybe
Yeah.
there is somebody who really needed to hear that or to read that exactly on that day.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is why it's important to join the movement, use the hashtag, and share whatever you can, and take whatever you need.
Absolutely. So how can people join your group on Facebook? Can you tell them?
Yeah, yeah, it's alive in her Facebook group, and we can put the link.
Okay, we can do that. And then
Yeah,
and definitely I encourage everyone to follow Catalina, to join her movement, to get involved in this. I love that it's global. I think that's a really unique and beautiful aspect of what you're doing. And again, I want to thank you for the work that you
thank
do
you.
every day, and for this new program that you're putting out there. It's so needed in the world. And I'm really grateful to you for jumping on my show today as well. So
Sure. And
definitely,
I see it as our movement. So actually, okay, it's the movement I created, but I see it as our movement.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I mean, I don't
Oh,
see it.
our
Oh,
movement,
our
our
movement.
movement.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha, gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
thank you. I know I have my earbuds in, and sometimes I think so. Okay, it is. It's our movement. It's a
Yeah.
collective conscious rising, and so we encourage you all to get involved in it. And again, so grateful that you were able to be on our program today, Catalina. You are an
Thank you.
inspirational voice, and you need to be heard. And
Thank
so
you.
thank you. And to our listeners, if our episode today resonated with you, which I'm sure it did, or if you have a story of your own rising, your healing, or your transformation that you'd like to share with us on my podcast, and or on Catalina's movement, I'd love to hear from you, and so would she. So please reach out to one of us. We just directed you to the Facebook group, but you could also reach out to me at Jenn@jenngulbrand.com. That's Jenn with two N's. jengulbrand.com, and let's explore bringing your voice into the sacred space, because your story could be the one story that helps someone else to breathe easier. So thank you so much, Catalina. Thank you for
Thank you.
listening, everyone. Until next time, Jen.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.